I'm Hailey.
And I'm Brittney, and today we're going to show you how to throw on the wheel.
Throwing is making a pot out of a ball of clay using a spinning surface.
Today we're going to be using porcelain, the same kind of clay that they used in China.
And throwing started in China about 20,000 years ago. So the things you're going to need include an apron, a bat, a sponge, a needle tool, a 90-degree rib, and a bucket of water. We like using warm water and highly recommend it. And of course, you'll need a ball of clay. This one is about 1.5 pounds.
Now let's go over to the wheel and get started.
Start off by getting your hands and the clay wet using the sponge. Centering is a process of making the clay centered so that when the wheel is turning, it's all in the center. It's all circular. Centering is a very difficult process, and even after years of throwing, I still haven't mastered it, so don't get frustrated. I start out by bracing my elbows on my knees. You can press the clay inward and then pull it up into a pound and push it back down. You might have to get your hands wet. Re-wet your hands a few times. So you want the clay to stay wet. So now that our clay is centered, Brittney's going to show y'all how to open.
Now we're going to open the clay. To start off opening the clay, you want to change your wheel to half speed. And I like to take my left hand and make a C around the clay. Just kind of sponge it because you still have to keep your clay wet. And then I take my right hand and I just stick my thumb in the middle of it. So when I stick my thumb into the middle of the clay, I like to add a little water so you don't have a lot of friction. And then you turn your wheel off and you're going to take your needle tool and you're going to stick it in the bottom of your clay to see how deep it is. And so my clay bottom is about that deep. I'm going to turn it back on and make it a little bit thinner by pressing my thumb deeper down into the clay. So now that you have it open, you're going to want to take the water out and then you're going to start pulling up your walls. Okay, so now we're going to pull up our walls, and pulling up the walls is where you take your hands at the base of your pot and you're going to gently pinch them up with pulling motions. And basically what this does is it determines the height and thickness of your clay bowl. So you're going to want to still keep your wheel at medium speed because you don't want to go too fast. And basically, I'm going to put a little bit more water into the middle of my pot, and then I'm just going to pull out my wall using my finger or my thumb. But since this clay is a little bit harder than normal, I'm going to use my thumb. So now, you're going to take your two fingers, and I like to keep my sponge in this finger, and you're going to firmly put your elbows on your knees so you don't move, and you're just going to grab the bottom of your clay and slowly bring it up without pressing down that hard because you don't need a lot of force.
Alright guys, sorry for the late heads up.
So you're just going to repeat this motion multiple times until you get the wall thickness that you want. And that's how you make a basic cylinder.
I like to slightly trim my pot at this stage so that it makes the final trimming easier later. So take your 45-degree angled wooden rib and you're going to slip it under the edge of your pot at the base at a slight angle.
It'll make like a puddle.
This will make a little lip underneath so that the pot will come off of the bat later on
You don't need to like
as it dries.
cover everything.
You can round out that edge if you want to.
Like this big.
Then you take your sponge,
Yeah, but I have to leave my house at 5.
dry off the pot,
I have to like start packing. I did all my laundry yesterday.
and remember to clean out the inside. And you're finished. And that's how you throw a basic cylinder using the wheel.
As you master these steps, the possibilities can become more endless and you can throw bigger bowls like this.
Now obviously our cylinder is not like that yet. It has to go through a few series of firing at very high temperatures, and then you have to glaze it. So eventually your piece will look more like this.
Thanks for watching!